Hello, grade 5. It's lovely to see you again. Welcome to our fourth lesson in lockdown. Today we're going to be doing language. So let's go through the topics that we're going to be speaking about today. I am Sheena Cooney and I am your teacher for this period. Okay, so hopefully at the end of the lesson you will know about, let's see, nouns with only plurals, uncountable and countable nouns, adjectives that come before nouns. Okay, so before we continue, if we do not get to adjectives or further along the nouns, that's quite okay. In our next lesson, I will make sure we go through that. So don't worry too much if we don't get through everything. So we have our collective, which is naming groups of things. We have nouns which are a person. They indicate a place, a thing. There are different types of nouns. We see collective is one of them, where we name groups of things. Common naming words. Proper begins with the capital letter. Abstract, feelings. So let's just go through this quickly. So nouns is a person, a place, or a thing. So, for example, girl, boy, man, woman, doctor, nurse. All right, it just identifies who they are. Place is where. The field, the river, the town, the city, the country, the farm, the office, the classroom. It just indicates the place that something is happening at. Thing relates to all objects as well as animals. So bird, lion, pencil, pen, book, carpet, chair, any object that is a name that we all use and familiar with. Now there are different types of nouns. Okay, for your common is your naming words like boy, girl, river, bird, road, okay? And then you have your proper nouns. Now, proper noun always begins with a capital letter. So although you are a boy, you have a name, or if you're a girl, you have a name. My name is Sheena Cooney. It starts with a capital letter. So it's a proper noun. Dr. Miller, proper noun. Nelson Mandela, proper noun. Also, places. Australia, South Africa, Cape Town. They all start with capital letters because they're the proper name of the place. For example, you get a desert. That's your common noun. Sahara Desert is your proper noun because it starts with a capital letter. It's named. The desert actually is named. Abstract is your feelings. Love, hate, disappointed, nervous, confused. Those are all the feelings. We call them abstract nouns because we cannot touch them, cannot see them. Okay. Common nouns you can generally touch and see, and you use all 5 senses. Collective is groups of things. For example, your swarm of bees, flock of birds. It's just to group things together to be able to classify them and to maybe just refer to them in a much simpler way. Right, so the next part of the slide I want to show you is the mind map of nouns. It's always good to have a mind map because then when you see things in images, it's so much easier to understand and imagine it in your mind. Our brain loves images and our brain loves color, so we want to use that to our advantage. So we have people, and put a group of people there for you. Then we have places. As you can see, there's an airport, a bus stop, railway station. It can also be things. So there we have some objects, cherries or fruit, sign, penguin, clock. Okay, those are all objects. We also have animals. So there we can see a bear, a zebra, a fox, a badger, kangaroo, an elephant, a giraffe. Feelings, happy, sad, mad. Events, For example, a birthday is an event, Christmas is an event, concerts, weddings, celebrations. Okay, those are all events. All right. So now we want to look at some common nouns, which you all seem to know very, very well. These are things you can see, touch, hear, smell, feel. Okay, see my little icons, also visually just showing you what each one means. Okay, so now we have our proper nouns. So common nouns are your ordinary things. Anything you see, you can visually see, that is a common noun. Touch, if you can touch it, it's a common noun. Hear it, smell it, feel it. Okay, these are all common nouns. Proper nouns are our names of common nouns. Name of a person, for example, Nelson Mandela. Name of a country or name of a continent, Africa. Name of a mountain. So mountain would be your common noun. Table Mountain would be your proper noun. Okay, so here we have a little table for you of common nouns and proper nouns. Okay. Right. So now, common nouns, things you can see, touch, smell, hear, or feel. Proper nouns refer to a specific thing, place, or person. So I've put together a little table, and I'm going to go through with you what goes where. So for example, let's look at Cape Town. Is Cape Town a common noun or a proper noun? Well, first of all, ask yourself, does it start with a capital letter? Yes. The moment you see it begins with a capital letter, you know that it is a proper noun. That's how you identify proper nouns. So the proper nouns in this table would be Cape Town, Mr. James, Kruger National Park, Monday. Now, chair, trust, and father are in capital letters. That is true. However, are they proper nouns? No. Although they are in capital letters, they generally sometimes revert to capital letters if used in the beginning of a sentence, like trust me, or father, please come here, but they are not proper nouns. Okay. So all the rest, other than Cape Town, Mr. James, Kruger National Park, and Monday, they are all common nouns and they all go into this blue box. Okay. So Kruger National Park is a park. So the common noun is park. However, it is named the Kruger National Park, so it goes into proper noun. Monday is a day. Day is your common noun. However, Monday is the proper name for it. So all your days of the week, your months of the year, they are proper nouns. Okay, so we're going to read the following passage and then we're going to try and identify the nouns in there. Okay, so let's read this together. Okay, that night Muck could not sleep at all. The little monster didn't even dare close his eyes. At any moment George could wake up and aim that terrifying bright spotlight right onto Muck where he was crouched behind a pair of shoes in the open cupboard. Things had been like this since George started reading Monster Myths, a collection of stories that treats all monsters as vicious villains and twists. A history of hatred and around to blame monsters of doing things to people that people really do to monsters. Okay, so we can identify that the story is about Muck, who is a monster, okay, and he lives in George's cupboard. Now, George never used to mind him and never used to be afraid of him until George started reading a specific book about myths, which means they're not true. And now he was afraid that George would treat him the way the book says monsters treat people. So we're going to look at the types of Nouns. Now, let's look at the first sentence. That night, Muck could not sleep at all. What type of noun did you find? So is it a common noun? Is it a proper noun? Name the noun. So you will actually name the actual word. Okay. The little monster didn't even dare close his eyes. So what type of noun did you find? Common or proper noun? And name the noun. So that night, Muck could not sleep at all. The proper noun is Muck. The common noun is night. So when I say type of noun, that would be proper noun or common noun. So these are your types of noun. Okay. Then I said name the noun, the actual word. So proper noun is your type, Muck is your word, the actual noun. Okay. You might find a few more than what I'm doing with you today, but that's fine. I'm just going to keep it brief. Okay, so let's do the same with the next sentence. The little monster didn't even dare close his eyes. So common noun is monster. We also have eyes. There is no capital letter in there, so there is no proper noun. Let's do these ones. At any moment, George could wake up and aim that terrifying bright spotlight right onto Muck, where he was crouched behind a pair of shoes in the open cupboard. So I'll split these two up just to help you be able to see the sentence clearly, because it is a long sentence. All right. So we found a proper noun. The proper noun starts with a capital letter, so we know that it's George. The second part of the sentence, we found proper noun, capital letter, which is Muck, and a common noun, which is shoes and cupboard. Spotlight is also a proper noun. Bright is an adjective, crouched is a verb. Shoes, pair of shoes means there's just one pair. Okay, let's move on. Things have been like this since George started reading Monster Myths, a collection of stories that treats all monsters as vicious villains. So what type of noun did you find? Name the noun. So I broke up the sentences so we could see them easier. Proper noun. You can clearly see that there are two proper nouns. The first one is George, his name, and the second one is Monster Myths, the name of the book. For this sentence, we found common nouns, stories. We found collection of stories, which is your collective noun as well. So we have monsters, we have villains. Okay, so those are your common nouns. A history of hatred around to blame monsters of doing things to people that people really do to monsters. Here's my little monster. Okay, so what type of noun did you find? Name the nouns. So we found lots of common nouns, found monsters, and we found people. Hatred is really an abstract noun. Okay, so well done. You're doing very well. Right, so now we are moving on to plural nouns. This part I'm sure you'll find quite easy. So we change nouns from singular to plural. 1 book, 3 books, 1 fox, 4 foxes, 1 baby, 2 babies. The spelling also changes slightly at the end. Okay. However, today we're going to do something more specific. There are plural forms of a noun that don't have a singular. For example, books has a singular word, book. But these nouns in plural form have no singular form. They stay plural. They are never written any differently. So I've put a few here for you. Binoculars. We do not say binocular. We say binoculars. Goggles. We do not say goggle. It's always goggles. Pliers. I don't think you've ever heard someone say to you, hand me the plier. It's always hand me the pliers. Jeans. Spectacles. Pants, pajamas, shorts, trousers, sandals, scissors, sneakers, slippers, stockings. Okay, they are always in plural. Now you can make these plural nouns singular but only if you put a pair of. For example, a pair of binoculars, a pair of spectacles. That means you've only got one set. However, you don't say binocular, one binocular. You say a pair of binoculars to indicate you only have one pair. A pair of goggles, a pair of jeans, a pair of shorts, a pair of pliers. Now, these are some more examples that I have here for you. Okay, so we have sunglasses, scissors, tweezers, binoculars, refreshments, headquarters, premises, and you can read through all of them and see these words are absolutely always in plural. We do not use them in singular, ever. Okay, and you know this because you can't add plural onto them either. So you don't say clothes or goods or odds. Okay, it's goods, odds. So you can't make them into plural, but they can't be made into singular either. Okay. Now, let's move on and go to our countable and uncountable nouns. Right, so nouns can be countable or uncountable. Countable nouns can be single and plural. For example, book, books, pen, pens. One pen, two pens. Okay. However, uncountable nouns, these are nouns you cannot count. They are only singular. You don't have a plural. For example, sugar. You cannot count sugar. Its tiny, tiny grains make that impossible. So it doesn't have a plural. Okay, you don't say sugars. It's always sugar. Uncountable nouns, for example, are also rice, coffee. They are all uncountable. Sand, okay, water. Let's look at some examples I have here. Countable, Bob is a handsome man. You can have a man or two men. So countable does have a plural and a singular. Uncountable, he made progress at work. Progress. You can only make progress. You can't make progresses. So it is uncountable. All right, so let's look at the following activity. Okay, in this activity, the underlined noun, you tell me if it's countable or uncountable. He used the computer to find more information. She unfolded the towel on the sand. There was too much furniture in the room. A student sat down in her seat. The radio was playing a beautiful song. The teacher gave students some advice. Stephen had to hang a picture on the wall. Sarah played the music for class. The rice was steaming on a plate. She put the jelly bean into her mouth and chewed. So now you have to identify which ones are countable and uncountable. He used the computer to find more information. Information refers to a large source. You don't have one piece of information. It's uncountable because there is so much information out there. It could be related to anything. It's not specific. So you cannot count it. So it's uncountable. She unfolded the towel on the sand. I can have two towels. Do you notice that I can make this word plural? Informations? No, can't make that plural. Towels? Yes. So this is countable. There was too much furniture in the room. Can you say furnitures? No. Therefore, it is uncountable. A student sat down in her seat. Students? Student? Yes, it is countable. The radio was playing a beautiful song. Can you say songs? Yes, you can. So it is countable. The teacher gave the student some advice. Can you say advices? No. So this is uncountable. Stephen had to hang a picture on the wall. We can say picture or pictures. Therefore, it's countable. Sarah played the music for class. Music, can you say musics? Nah. So this is uncountable. The rice was steaming on a plate. Can you say rices? No. Therefore, it's uncountable. She put the jelly bean into her mouth and chewed. Can you say jelly beans? Yes, you can. Therefore, it's countable. So now we know that uncountable nouns are nouns you cannot count. You normally cannot use a or an in front of them. That's one way of knowing. And you mostly do not use the. Uncountable nouns do not have a plural form. I like to eat meat. You don't say I like to eat meats. Countable nouns you can count. You can use a, like an apple, a box. You can use them in plural form, sausage, sausages. Okay, so now you're going to make 2 columns of countable and uncountable nouns, and you can write the following nouns into the correct column, and then make a sentence with each word. So we have book, money, chair, sugar, coffee, door, sand, rain, salt, house, and your door. Okay, so you need to sort them. Which ones can you count? Countable. Which ones can you not count? Uncountable. Okay, so we will not be able to get to adjectives today. Okay, so I'm going to move forward to our last PowerPoint. Here we go. Okay. All right, so we did a noun is a person, place, thing, or idea. Some nouns are always plurals. These are some examples that I gave you, countable and uncountable nouns. So over here we have a few activities that you can go on a noun hunt. On this website here, you click there. Easy Teacher worksheets have some nice common noun activities to do. And in our next lesson on listening and speaking, we're going to, you can welcome to read an African tale and send it to us on these media contacts handles or at #lockdowneschool. In next week's listening and speaking, we're actually going to be doing a book review and looking at that and discussing that. It was really, really lovely to meet all of you and to be able to have you a part of this lesson. I do hope I see you next time. Bye.